Running looks like the healthiest sport in the world. You get outside more, you move your body, you of course get fitter over time with consistency, and it can be good for you mentally. You clear your head. It's that simple. But the deeper I got into running, as I've dedicated myself this past 2.5 years to go from not even being able to complete a 5K or running in around 27, 28 minutes to now a 15:50 5K, a 2:44 marathon, and I've truly dedicated myself to this. And from doing that, I've realized the dark truths of running and why going all in, like I've done over the past couple of years, might not be the best thing for you. And this is of course not because running is bad by any means. Running has genuinely changed my life. But running for health versus running to get as fast as humanly possible, truly finding your limit, are two completely different things. One can make your life better and the other can absolutely take over everything, and it's finding your balance. I've never seen anyone speak about this before, so I hope you find some value in this. So the first thing to know and be made aware of is that level of commitment will mean that your physique will get worse. And I know this isn't important for everyone, but if you want to look a certain way, the amount of stress on your body and mileage that requires to get to a certain goal, to say run a sub 3-hour marathon or truly dedicate yourself, will mean that your output and intensity in the gym is not as good. The amount of stress on your joints and your body is of course a lot. You require a lot of recovery and you need to sleep enough, eat enough. The calorie requirement is crazy. And of course you can still hit the gym and lift as well as running, but if you truly want to optimize for getting as fast as humanly possible in the non-healthy way and really dedicate yourself, then it is likely that over time you will look a little bit worse. In summary, you basically have to start making trades. You're of course not going to be able to lift as heavy for your lower body. You often have to avoid upper body training to get as light as possible to try and run your fastest marathon, and less explosive work. You've got to trade that for just more easy running, with the bulk of your week focused on that zone 2 easy work. Your food decisions obviously have to be prioritized around your big running sessions, your long run. You need a lot of carbs and you definitely don't want to underfuel. This is where injuries come in. So in order to improve, you have to be consistently training for as long as possible. In order to do that, you just can't get injured. And in order to not get injured, you need to eat a lot of food. So the calorie requirement is sky high, particularly carbohydrate. Again, not everyone prioritizes this or cares about this, but if you are getting into running to get in the most optimal shape possible, there are probably better methods. The second dark truth that I don't see anyone talk about is that if you want to get to a certain level and maximize your potential, it has to consume you. Not in like a motivational way of like, yes, I'm going to dedicate my life to this. It's pretty boring. You have to optimize your sleep schedule, focus on recovery, tick off the miles. Often when you get to a certain level, introduce 2 sessions in one day. It is a lot of hours across the week. And it's just important to be made aware of that. You see a lot of people online that are doing these insane, ridiculous times, but they have made huge sacrifices to get there. And in some cases, not all, it is genuinely not worth it. Which leads on to my next point, the third dark truth, which that the achievement you're striving towards is genuinely not as rewarding as you think it be. Again, this isn't to put you off. There is a lot of satisfaction, but anyone who's achieved a big race result they're working towards, in hindsight, and it sounds cliche, but that journey to getting there is the satisfaction, is the rewarding part. It's not the time, because that means nothing without the work beforehand. And the other thing to be made aware of, and this is true for absolutely any runner, anyone who you look up to is incredibly fast, all they do is move the goalpost, and they are never satisfied, never happy, and can never reflect and look back and go, oh wow, I'm really proud of that. It's always what's next, which again can be amazing if you're striving to be as fast as possible, striving to be an elite athlete or achieving these next goals. But I don't really believe it's the healthiest thing for your overall health and fitness. These people truly never feel enough. The best parallel, again, this is probably an extreme for the video, is like an addiction where the initial times you get are very fast to get there. So you'll knock minutes off your 5K, 10K right at the beginning of training, and that becomes so satisfying, so addictive. You then get to the next level and it becomes harder and harder to get faster, and it requires more and more work. You are then on this endless treadmill forever and ever, constantly striving to the next thing. And once you actually stop and reflect and think about this, it is actually kind of insane that you have to double your training hours just to get seconds faster in a marathon. And that even comes with sacrifices to your health, to your physique, and to your happiness. These sacrifices get exponentially higher and you spend less time with family, friends, doing less social things. The fourth dark truth that I do not see people talk about enough is that your fitness does not stay. It's easy to think once you reach a certain level, it'll be so easy to maintain. But the requirement to maintain that level only gets higher and harder, and you have to maintain that intensity forever if you want to stay in this shape. You will actually lose your fitness faster after, say, a 2-3 week break, the fitter you are, because the requirement is so much more. Yes, you might build it back quicker than someone who's not as well trained as you, but the fitter you get, the higher that maintenance cost or requirement becomes. And then that causes even more anxiety when you're a well-trained athlete, because even just a few days off costs so much to you. You know the damage that has on your fitness, and that causes a lot of anxiety in your day-to-day life. You'll go out for a dinner and you'll be thinking and stressing about either the fitness you lost or the fact you have to do a workout the next morning hungover or with a headache, and the damage that has on your overall fitness. So it's just making you aware of fitness is not something that you can own forever. It's actually your ability to maintain and keep it. So it must be a structure you can genuinely maintain within your lifestyle, and that comes from the enjoyment factor too. If you absolutely dread and hate every workout, you could probably get through a marathon block, but after that, you're just gonna never wanna run again. And this means that it already, when you're missing a few days out, puts you in a very negative state of mind. And that negative state of mind is self-reinforcing, because that drives motivation, drives you to work harder, push harder, and therefore that state of mind becomes a positive output for your running goals. They need a number to prove that they are improving. And running is perfect for that because it's just brutally honest with you. And if you are someone that always needs to prove yourself or needs some scoreboard to keep track, then running will give you that. But then if you're not careful, it then tips into becoming your self-worth, where your self-worth is attached to your fitness, which is just crazy. After a really amazing session, you go out, hit your splits perfectly. That is like your minimum satisfaction. And then you have a bad run and suddenly your whole day is ruined. To me, that just doesn't seem healthy. Again, I just want to stress this. Not everyone is like this, but I know a lot of people that are, which turns running into a really healthy habit, into something that maybe isn't so good for your overall mental health and mindset. And it just kind of makes you aware that there is an uncomfortable truth that people who are really, really good at endurance sports, there are also ties and a lot of traits that make you miserable. Having that constant self-criticism, your ability to ignore discomfort, never feel enough, chasing times and having direct measurability on how successful you are. These traits create amazing performance and running times, but if you're never able to switch them off, you can become quite unhappy. So, is running worth it? Absolutely. I do not regret at all dedicating these past few years to achieving my running goals. Running is without a doubt one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. There is something so satisfying about becoming really good at something that you once felt was impossible. There is something incredible about running a time that you used to look at and thought, that is just completely out my depth. I will never achieve that. But it's important to note that anything that is super extreme is not optimal for your health. Health is obviously your body, your cardiovascular health, your relationships, how you spend your time, your mental health and clarity. Are you enjoying what you do day to day as the years pass by? And it's just finding your balance and your level of sacrifice that you want to achieve a desired outcome. Of course, I recommend every single person watching this video at some point in your life, you should dedicate yourself and try run a marathon or run a half marathon. See what level you can truly push yourself to. But just know that the faster you get, the more it costs. And these people that are achieving amazing things do have to make massive sacrifices to get there. If you are running yourself, let me know if you agree or disagree with these in the comments. I've just personally never heard anyone talk about this, and I find it interesting myself. I'm trying to personally navigate what the next goal is for me, how I want to dedicate my time, and I wanted to give you the most honest version of running.